I was sent a new mixer and we're going to completely unbox it today, and I'm going to review the tar out of it, especially baking bread using 100% freshly milled wheat. I've actually never heard of this mixer before. I do not know exactly what to expect, so you're coming along with me on this journey. Hey y'all, welcome back to Grains and Grit. My name is Felicia, and on this channel, we talk all things real whole grains from a biblical perspective. So as I mentioned, this mixer was actually sent to me, and I've never heard of this brand before. I'm not familiar with it at all. And frankly, I'm a bit skeptical how it's going to handle dough with fresh milled wheat. Because as many of y'all know, I have the Bosch Universal Mixer Plus, and I also have the Nutrimill Artiste, which are excellent, high-powered, heavy-duty mixers that can handle dough that uses freshly milled wheat. And if you don't know, if you're here because you stumbled when you want a review on this mixer, just know that whenever we use fresh milled wheat, yes, we mill our own wheat to make bread. We don't buy flour from the store, and it is a heavier dough. And many typical stand mixers like the KitchenAid typically cannot handle that. In fact, they actually recently came out, KitchenAid recently came out stating that they wouldn't necessarily recommend their mixer. The main reason being not so much the capacity issue. For me, that's a deal, kind of a big deal for me because I need the larger capacity. I'm a large family mama and I bake a ton of bread and I use my mixers like crazy, but it's predominantly the motor. Usually the motor is not strong enough and it will eventually burn out your motor. So why spend money on a machine and not last you as long as it could? But this mixer was sent to me. So what we're going to do is I'm going to unbox it, and everything is fully my initial first impressions. This is not a sponsored video. They did send it to me. I have no idea what to expect entirely. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be reviewing, we're going to be unboxing, giving you the initial info about this mixer, and I'm actually going to compare it to the specs that I know with the Bosch Universal Mixer Plus, as well as a KitchenAid model that is might be more of a competitor for this particular mixer. I don't have a KitchenAid, so I cannot tell you the experience I have with it. I'm just going to be comparing it with just the specs that I grabbed from their website. I will also be thoroughly testing out this mixer with a batch of my Simple Yeast Bread Loaf recipe. I gotta make bread today, so we're gonna see how this goes and how it works. I've been baking bread with freshly milled wheat for over a decade. I know what I like in my mixers and I know what to expect, and I have very high expectations. So let's get started by just giving y'all initial specs for this. Now, do know at the end, if you are interested in this mixer, I will have a link for you. And I think I have a coupon code for you. If I do, I'll flash it up here on the screen for you. But with this mixer, this is the Hauswirt mixer. It's the model M5. It's just a household stand mixer. Their specs this is, I believe, it says 19 pounds. And the mixer itself is 13 by 7 inches deep, 7.16 inches wide, and 12.67 inches high. It is 11 speeds, and they say actually does have a 500 watt motor. This is a 5.3 quart capacity for the bowl. And right now, as of this video, it's about $270 on Amazon, which is a lot cheaper than a KitchenAid and a Bosch Universal Mixer Plus and things like that. So price-wise, this is a lower priced mixer. Compared to the Bosch Universal Mixer, which I don't know if you can see her on camera, that's Miss Betsy Bosch back there. She is around $470, not on sale, but the quart capacity is 6.5 quarts. Also a 500 watt motor. It's also just a different design. It has like a double type dough hook as opposed to the typical dough hook that comes with these type of stand mixers. Also 11 inches deep, 12 inches wide, 15 inches high. Now the KitchenAid model that I found that I think might be a competitor for this one is their KitchenAid 5.5 quart bowl lift stand mixer. So that is 5.5 quart bowl as opposed to 5.3 quarts. It also states that it's a 500-watt motor. It is a stand mixer like this. So it does have that dough, your typical dough hook that you're familiar with. Now theirs is, they also have 11 speeds, but they're selling theirs for around $450. Another big thing that I noticed is that KitchenAid, their attachments, even though you may have a stainless steel bowl, their attachments are usually coated and not stainless steel, unlike the Bosch and this mixer as well. That's like a basic overall comparison between the mixers. Just now let's open this up to see what it looks like, because I don't even know what it looks like really. So opening up, typical foam stuff. So here at the top, we've got, okay, so this is our first attachment here. Oh, this is pretty. Okay, so this is, I guess, the paddle attachment. This does have, I believe that's silicone, a scraper here, and this is pure stainless steel, according to the box. So that's right up at the top. And of course, your manuals we have up here. Okay, so here's our dough hook. Oh, that's nice. Okay, so it's one of these spiral ones again. Oh, and that is pure stainless steel. And I have to say, that's a bit different design of a dough hook than I have seen before. So I'm interested to see how it compares. You take other stuff out, and now the fun part for my short self. Okay, let's actually put this. Go. But this is it. I will say, it is it is a very sleek design. All right, but let's kind of glance here. Okay, now what they have, so push the button, that comes up. This is their whisk attachment. Oh, what's the secret to getting it off? Okay, so we have the whisk. We also have the splash guard. So this is all that came with it. So again, we have the one wire whisk, the flat beater, the splash guard, and then of course the dough hook. And all of these are stainless steel, including the bowl, which is really, really cool. This is their bowl. I can say, again, this is a 5.3 quart bowl, just a typical stainless steel bowl. That does feel, it feels good. This dough hook feels solid. I mean, really solid. So do all of these. I mean, all of these feel pretty solid there. Now, the thing that I'm most intrigued about is that it is an LCD display. I mean, like, talk about high tech type thing here. It's not your typical just the knobs and stuff like that. It's fancy schmancy. You do know that they do have attachments for this machine, and I think that's why you have, yeah, that's why you have this. So this is for an attachment. And so the optional attachments that they have is they do have the meat grinder and then the pasta maker. So those are two attachments that come with this. So I assume that's why you have these pieces here. Okay, so I wanted to show y'all a close-up of this. So like I said, this is it's a very sleek, very modern looking machine. I mean, this is a very, very pretty machine. I will give them credit for that. But it is a full, what's that, LCD, LED display. Oh, look at that. So this is how you adjust your speed. And the menu here, let me see. Oh, okay, menu there. The time, so you can set, oh, okay, so you can set the timer so you can walk away. That's cool. Now, another thing that they also say about this machine is that it's quiet. I will be testing that out for sure. But look at it, guys. I mean, I have to say, it's like all pretty and shiny and ooh and ah. Well, next up is to actually just put it through the ringer. So I'm actually going to mill some wheat here and read the manual a little bit to figure out how to work this. So that is the thing, is I find that with this type of screen, it's not just okay, I turn it on and I adjust the speed settings and I'm good to go. So I am actually going to have to take some time to understand these buttons and to learn it, to know how to, it should look pretty easy. Oh, okay, I just noticed this actually. If you can see, the inside of the bowl actually does have measurements in it. So that's pretty cool. You're going to test this out with my Simple Yeast Bread Loaf recipe. I have a feeling I am not going to be able to fit it all in. I did read the manual, and what this is basically this menu here. These are kind of preset settings. So the first one that you see blinking is basically the manual. And then we have with the little kind of whisk icon, that is the knead dough setting mix. And then we have the grind and also mix. So like knead dough / mix. And then we have, of course, the meat grinder setting. Then we have a slice setting. So I guess they do have a slicer of some kind to get with this. And then the pressing of the noodle. So it looks like the attachments. And these are just presets, I guess. And so what you do is, so I'm going to keep it here. Oop, and I'm going to do it again. Okay, you don't have to press hard. It is just a touch screen. Okay, so we are doing this, and then we use the knob here to adjust. So this is to adjust the speed, and then to adjust the time, I would hit time. There we go. And then use the knob to adjust it like such. So that's pretty cool. I think it's going to hold my whole recipe. Maybe it will. You know what? Just kidding. I'm going to test this fully. I'm going to see how it does with my regular one. So we're going to try to make my typical 3 loaves that I do from here. So, ooh, look at this. How cool is that? So that's pretty cool. I will say the suction on this, the suction cup things on the bottom are extremely, extremely sturdy. I will give them credit for that. Okay. And now let me, okay, there's that. And then how do I start it? Ooh. Okay, so I will say speed 1 is very slow. Let's try speed 2. Speed 2. You can't just do it this one hand. All right, so that's 3, 4, 5. I'll say this thing is quiet. 7. I'm gonna crank it all the way up to 11. Ooh, oh goodness. Okay, that is okay. You can adjust the speed while it's going. You just dial it down. So that's how you do it. So you push play, dial. Ooh, oh, like so fancy, fancy schmancy. Being so liquidy, it was it was splashing out a bit. Now I can already tell that for my autolyse here, I do want to go ahead and just scrape everything down because it's not all quite incorporating in. Not a big deal. This is just where I let it sit. So initial impressions. I don't know if it was fully mixing things up on the bottom, but again, this is the dough hook. So in order to do this first part, you may just need to whisk it by hand. That might be easier to do. Now we let this sit. Now, nope, you cannot use this as a timer. This is only for whenever it's going. So I do need to set a timer. I will say I don't like how I can't maneuver as well. 8. So total, I have a total of 8 cups of flour in here. That includes the 2 cups that I already put in for my autolyse, whatever you want to call it. Let's see how this works. Oh, geez. Oh, goodness. I don't have much faith, I will say. Not much faith here. Oh, okay, so this is one thing is because this is open, I do have some flour coming out. Eventually that will settle down, but something to consider where other mixers I have, it's a full cover. So that's kind of a in my opinion. Okay, I will say probably gonna need to up it a bit more. We're now up to 5. I will say this is a quiet mixer. I am talking over this. Yeah, I'm mic'd, but listen. I mean, usually my other mixers, if I'm even mic'd, I have to kind of walk away a little bit to make sure that you can hear me. So I am actually impressed with how quiet this is. Okay, I'm gonna move it up to a 6, and then of course I need to add some more flour. Okay, but it is pulling off the sides of the bowl. Might need a little, yeah, I am gonna add just a teensy more. And I will say, so far, it doesn't seem to be having a ton of strain. Handling it fairly well. Okay, you can see that it is rocking a bit where the Bosch doesn't move at all, but I was kind of expecting that. But it is, I am actually able to hold all the dough. It is holding all. Okay, now is when I'm going to start the timer. So let's, oh goodness, this is really, okay, I think I have to, okay, so yeah, I do have to, forgot to do that. Okay, so we're going to do a 9-minute knead and see how that goes. Okay. All right, so it's been 9 minutes. This did beep and then just stopped automatically. So I have to say, that's super cool. I don't have to come rushing in here afterwards. And here, here it is. So it did stay attached. And one thing I don't like is I can't remove this without fully removing my dough hook, because at some point I wanted to remove it kind of in the middle of it kneading, and then I realized I had to move the dough hook out. So this dough is, I will say, it is looking good. I kneaded it well and it handled it all. I am pleasantly surprised. I will say that. Now she was shaking, and everything, but she did it. Now we're just going to take this out and we're going to shape it as normal and see how it bakes. But I will say this did make a nice soft dough just the way I like it, which is excellent. So now let's figure out how to, okay, there we go. Twist it out. I will say this is cool with the handles. I do like the handles. Some of the dough did get up here in this part up here. So, oh my word, like a lot of the dough. So we'll have to clean that. I don't even know how. I don't know if that comes out. Yeah, so I'm going to have to take like a toothpick or something up there. So that's going to be a pain. I showed you all this earlier, but the suction cups are legit. I mean, I had to pull pretty hard. And even with all that straining, she held. So now let's shape this and bake it and show the final results and give y'all and give y'all my initial thoughts. So I completely forgot to film the bread coming out and everything. So forgive me, but bottom line is it actually turned out completely normal. There was nothing crazy about my bread, how it worked in the Bosch or my Nutrimel Artiste. It kneaded it well and the bread turned out great. So here's actually my kind of my thoughts. This is actually being filmed a few weeks later than that first video when I unboxed it, because I kind of wanted to try it out some more. Now, as you can see, this is it on my counter compared to my Instant Pot, 8-quart Instant Pot. That's just a blender and a 14-quart food processor. So you can see it actually fits pretty well on the counter. It's quite narrow. So that's something to consider when it comes to space, especially compared to, like, this is my Bosch and my Nutrimel Artiste, which, they are wider at the base. Do I recommend this mixer? Honestly, yes and no, because frankly, it just depends on your use. Are you baking as much bread as I make? Are you a power user? If you are a power user, I will recommend the Bosch Universal Mixer all day long, followed second place being the Nutrimel Artiste, because I just think, especially the Bosch, you can tell I'm pretty confident that that thing is going to last me for years and years, even with everything that I throw at it. It does not move at all. I've even done it where I've made 4 to 5 loaves of bread in the Bosch, where obviously I wouldn't be able to do it in this one. I was at max capacity with the 3 loaves. So here's where I do recommend this mixer. Because it is less expensive than the Bosch and even the Nutrimel Artiste, I believe. So if you were looking for a stand mixer replacement and you like the KitchenAid models and things like that, but no longer want to pay those prices, then I think this is actually a good one to get. I think it is great replacement a cheaper option, a good dupe, as you would say, for the KitchenAid typical stand mixers. I was very impressed with the fact that it does come with a 500-watt motor and at how quiet it was. On top of that, I love the fact that it is a stainless steel bowl and all of the parts in it, the dough hook, the whisk, and the batter thingy are pure stainless steel. They are all stainless steel with maybe some silicone on the batter attachment. So that is great, especially contrast to the KitchenAid. I know I've heard things of like lead. I don't think they use that anymore in the KitchenAid. I'm not sure. But the fact that it's just coated, it's not actually stainless steel. And considering how much more you pay for KitchenAid compared to this, something to consider. So I do recommend this mill if you are making smaller batches. You are not a power user like I am. You're not always baking like these larger batches of bread. But hey, if you're one or two people in your household and you only need to make one or two loaves at a time, I think this will be fine. The one thing that absolutely drove me nuts was the fact, and you saw that all that dough got up kind of on top of above where the dough hook was. Now I do think that was because I pretty much maxed it out with those 3 loaves. That was a lot of dough, and I don't believe it cannot handle anything more than that. That was a pain to clean. So again, if you actually go down, if you decrease the recipe, I think it'll do better, because I think it was just a lot of dough, and it's just gonna creep up in order to handle that. So that's something there. It was irritating. Not gonna lie. I had to get in with like a toothpick. Now I did wait until unfortunately it had dried on, so that made it a bit more difficult. I'm sure if I got in there first thing and the dough was still soft, that would have helped. So that's something to consider. A problem that I do not have with my Bosch or my Nutrimel Artiste is that dough like creeping in, because again, it's a different design. Do have a coupon code for y'all for 15% off, which is amazing, and you can get it on Amazon. So I will link everything here and in the description box below if you are interested in this mixer. Again, I like the look of it. I like how narrow it is. I like that it's stainless steel, and like it's a sleek design. I have to say, like, it's just a good looking mixer if you care about that. So again, it handled the dough. I was shocked. I was completely shocked. But it just depends. Your power users, I would just save your money and go with the Bosch or the Nutrimoll Artiste. But if you're not a power user and you're just wanting a good mixer to help, do your dough in smaller batches, this is actually so far, I would say pretty good. Pretty good. So there you have it. Hopefully this was a helpful video and definitely different than what I get. And as always, if y'all have any questions, let me know. Especially let me know if you've also tried this mixer. Give us your thoughts. But otherwise, I hope y'all have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next week. Bye.